Love handles are fat deposits right above our hips that are notorious for being the most stubborn area in our bodies to lose fat from. And this is because it's one of the very first areas that our bodies tend to pack on weight first. This is also referred to as visceral fat, which is the fat that is stored around our organs and not closer to the skin, which is called subcutaneous fat. One of the worst things that you can do to lose this fat is to crash diet, which means heavily restricting yourself of food to lose weight quickly. For example, eating once a day or cutting carbs out immediately, or just eating much less than what you would usually eat. This is not a sustainable approach, and in most cases, you will probably lose weight, but you end up with weight fluctuations because it's not something that you can keep up for a long period of time. Most people who do end up going back to their regular eating pattern after losing weight end up gaining the weight back or even more. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys 5 simple things that you can start doing today to burn those love handles naturally without taking any products or feeling like you're starving yourself. Tip number 1, you want to eat foods that have a high thermic effect, foods that make burning fat a lot more easier. These foods can lead to an overall calorie deficit, which leads to weight loss. The thermic effect of food is essentially the energy that your body requires in breaking down, digesting, and assimilating nutrients from the food that you eat. So simply put, some foods require more calories to break down than others, which is good for fat loss. Carbohydrates and fats will only require about 5 to 15% of the calories you take in to digest those macronutrients. However, protein requires 20 to 35% of the calories that you take in to digest and process. Protein is very filling and it's an essential macronutrient in building muscle, and it provides a lot less net calories. Whole calorie foods tend to have a lot more thermic effect than processed ones. Vegetables are also great too, as they cost almost the same amount of calories to digest as the amount of calories that they provide. So eat more lean protein and more vegetables and a lot less processed foods. If you live in Nigeria, some lean protein items that you can find anywhere are eggs, skinless chicken, like chicken breast, salmon, fish, and beef. As some foods are high in thermic effect, there are some foods that are very low in thermic effect, like sugar. And that brings me to my second tip. It will be to heavily cut down on your sugar intake. Most people think that sugar just means actual sugar that you use to sweeten your tea, but that's not the only sugar source that could potentially lead to fat gain. Not only does sugar have a very low thermic effect, but it is very high in calories for the amount of volume that it will require to fill you up. And also, sugar is specifically linked to obesity, especially in your tummy. So you store more fat in your belly, and sugar increases your insulin levels and decreases your body's insulin sensitivity level, which leads to storage of more fat and makes it difficult to burn previously stored fat. Consuming sugar regularly stimulates your brain to crave even more sugar. The sugars that you overlook in your diet are the most dangerous ones. Most Nigerians can drink 3 to 4 bottles of beer a day, sometimes even in one sitting, and then they wonder why their belly is big. I see men finish from the gym and go sit down at the nearest outside bar and order bottles of beer, overlooking the fact that just one bottle of beer has up to 100 grams of sugar, thus contributing to your sugar intake and also disrupting your body's blood sugar level and its ability to process sugar. So to reduce sugar in your diet, you should eliminate sodas, beer, excessive amounts of alcohol, store-bought juices, and other sweetened beverages, and just stick to water instead. Then eliminate sugar from the not so obvious sources like processed foods that contain added sugars, artificial ingredients, flavor enhancers, and high fructose corn syrup. So if you buy packaged foods in boxes that have really long shelf life, read the nutrition labels and look out for these ingredients. The next tip to losing your love handles quickly is to minimize the consumption of refined carbohydrates. Now, I'm not one to tell people to cut out carbs from their diet. I eat carbs all the time. In fact, I am on a high carb diet. But refined carbs are quickly converted to sugar after you eat them. When the grains are refined, they're stripped of all the bran, fiber, and nutrients. Not only does this reduce the thermic effect of these carbs, but it also speeds up the rate of digestion, so it's not long before you're hungry again. Many refined carbs have additional added sugars. Examples include cereals, white bread, pastries, pasta, sweets, etc. And it's not that you can never eat these foods again, but stick to more whole, natural sources of carbs like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oatmeal, etc. When it comes to breakfast cereals, get whole grain cereals or all brand cereals. For bread, you want to go for whole wheat breads. My next tip to losing love handles is to lift weights. People that are trying to lose their love handles make the same mistake all the time of doing ab exercises. And this just doesn't work, not only because you can't spot reduce fat, but because these exercises just don't burn enough calories and all they do is build muscle underneath. So instead, you want to focus on weight training exercises that build the most muscle and also burns the most fat. Compound lifts like deadlifts, squats, clean and jerks, bench presses, shoulder presses, pull-ups, back rows. By performing these exercises with heavy weights, you'll be able to burn a lot more calories during the recovery process, and also because all those broken down muscle fibers will need a lot of calories to repair. My last tip to losing your love handles is to incorporate at least 15 minutes of high intensity training directly after your weightlifting session. Weight training predominantly requires carbs for energy, so by the end of your 45-minute or 1-hour weightlifting session, your glycogen or carbohydrate stores will be depleted. By performing the high-intensity training directly after, your body will be forced to burn the fat to provide the energy needed for the workout session, since it's already burned through the carbohydrates with the weight training. I recommend exercises that work your entire body and gets your heart rate high. Things like burpees, squat jumps, high knees, skipping. Now, I don't see the point of doing more than you have to and overworking your body. Just try to have these HIIT training sessions once a week or twice a week. So there you have it. These are my top 5 tips. I hope this helped you. For workout programs and meal plans, make sure to check out my website, www.sandraokkfit.com. There are easy, fun, and affordable programs for you, whether you're at home or at the gym. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it to someone who you think will benefit from it, and don't forget to subscribe. Leave me a comment down below, and I will see you guys in my next video.